Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Wow, hailing from beautiful Florida, Erin MacNeil joining us
Yes,
here live today on the podcast and, of course, on the Zoom. So I get to see the beautiful beach behind her. How are you doing today?
I am doing very well. Jill, how about yourself?
Better. Well, I think you're better than me because you got this whole relaxation thing happening here and it's looking beautiful. Tell me, what are you doing on vacation? I mean, you're entitled, but your busy season is
Yes,
starting up soon, right?
exactly. So, just like many spa owners, I'm getting in a little vacation before the busy season starts. And I know that we've talked so many times, week after week, about my program is digital and what I do is from anywhere. And so, this is proof that it is truly from anywhere, that we're able to help you from anywhere. So, we are at the beach today.
What beach? What part of Florida, if you know, I'm asking.
So we are in Clearwater, Florida today. Yes. Have you
What?
been?
Yeah, what hotel are you in? I'm not coming to stalk you. I mean,
So we're actually, yeah, we're staying at an Airbnb. So we're touring around a little bit, and so today is St. Pete's and Clearwater Day. So we're seeing the whole west side today.
yeah, my friend's mom lives in Tampa, so I brought the boys down there 2 years ago, and they were like 5 and 7 at the time, and we had a blast. But the best part, I never knew how beautiful Clearwater Beach is. It's like being in the Caribbean. It's way better than
Absolutely.
the East Coast. Sorry, it is.
It is, and formerly living in Bermuda, I am seeing these beaches for the first time. And of course, I'm originally from Toronto, where beaches are not a comparison at all, but being here, it's actually quite nice and very comparable to something in Bermuda.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for being here and tell us, Erin, what you do as a spa business coach.
Absolutely. So we do focus business coaching in and around med spas, beauty businesses, and aesthetic practices. So we serve a lot of med spa owners and a lot of nurse injectors that are starting out and trying to grow their practice. And we really focus on three main pillars inside of business, which is your numbers, your operation, and how you build and grow a team. So those are our three main pillars that we help you grow and scale your spa business.
Awesome. And how do we contact you?
Oh, you can find us on all of the socials at the Spa Business Coach, and our website is thespabusinesscoach.com. We try to keep it real simple at the Spa Business Coach for everything.
Got it. Well, let's talk today about you mentioned this time of year. This is it. You're gearing up for one of the busiest seasons. You're helping all these estheticians and these med spa owners really increase profitability. What are some of the things that we should be looking out for now come, fall or quarters? I forgot you mentioned the quarters here,
Yeah,
right?
I like to talk in quarters, but absolutely fall is coming, which means, as the summer comes to a close, August historically is recruitment month where you're really looking to see who do I need on my team to fulfill the business flow that's going to come through in October through to December. And so if your business was busy last year and or you are at a high level of utilization for team members, it might be time to look at adding someone now. Therefore, you'll be trained up and ready to serve your community and your market come the beginning of Q4, which is October. So
Yeah.
Q4 is when a lot of business is happening in the beauty industry. It's holiday season coming up. Lots of people like to kind of close out the year, I would say, meeting and matching their goals for skin health, wellness, beauty, all those things. So it goes hand in hand.
Got it. Well, here we are, and in during the season, let's talk. I mean, you're in the sun today. Sunblock, I'm sure, very important. Tell me.
Yes, I am wearing my absolute favorite. And if you have
What
not tried
what is
this
it?
tinted, so it is a tinted, I wish I had it. It's in the car. It's a tinted facial sunscreen. I use it as foundation, to be honest, all the time. It's by Color Science. It's my absolute favorite.
What
Most
is
like a lot of med spas, if they carry Color Science, you can find it there. So it's an SPF, I believe it's an SPF 30. I could be wrong. My client, I have a client in Naples, Florida, and she's gonna be upset. But I think it's around 30 to 50 SPF,
I
and
just
it
Googled it. Is it matte protection too? Because
correct.
everything I find is
Yes.
greasy that I put on my face. Sun forgettable,
So I
total
do
protection,
use
face
finishing
shield.
powder.
Oh my gosh. But so it's not greasy, it's a 50 matte. Oh my gosh.
Yes. So
Oh,
I
I
use
had
a
to Google it.
finishing powder as well. If you do a finishing powder, it stays all day long. And I'm telling you, I've tried because I have quite an oily T-zone. So I'm thinking by midday, I need to kind of blot or put extra powder. If if you're looking for a sunscreen that's not going to congest your skin, that is going to act like a proper foundation, but you actually get that SPF coverage, that's
Yeah.
the buck stops here. That's it.
Oh, oh my
So
gosh.
you have to, and then they have different levels of tint. I think the one I'm using is medium. They have a darker tint, and then they have one that's not tinted. But of course, like if you typically do wear makeup, this is the one.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for sharing that. Well, what else did you want to talk about for today on this amazing vacation?
Well, yeah, just I think talking about going into Q4, and again, regardless of the business that you have, I think it's really important to look at what people you have on your team and what positions you might have to fill in order to really be able to serve in your market and serve the potential business flow that you're expecting. So, when recruitment season comes around, I know a lot of people get nervous because they're looking at August sales and they're thinking, you know what, Erin, I can't really afford to hire right now, but you really want to afford or think about it not in what can I afford now. It's more like what am I planning to create in the next 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks. And that's what you're really planning for is hiring people on for the business flow, which includes sales and the amount of volume of money flowing through your business October through to December. So I know a lot of people get a bit hesitant, like, Erin, how do I know I can afford it? How do I know what I should be paying people? And how do I, jump through all of those hoops? So important tips right now, if you are going to lean in and recruit, is really creating a welcome package. I love giving this outline, and I actually just posted it on my Instagram. So if you're not sure of what to include, it's all there for you, and you can reach out. We're happy to answer questions. But you want to include in a welcome package, number one, that makes somebody feel like they're part of the team, they're welcome, right?
Yeah,
You
of
have
course.
copies of your
Hmm.
signed contract, you
Yeah.
have copies of how you break down their compensation, you would have a copy of your employment handbook or your company handbook. You would put in protocols or maybe your brand standards in there. And of course, any training documents that you want in there, not just to guide, of course, guiding is important throughout that training process, but I think also important for business owners, if you're in a med spa or any kind of beauty business. Historically, we're not great at HR things. So if you can have those tools and resources to also capture a record of who was trained, when they were trained, what they were trained on, so that as you move through maybe that probation period, if they need extra help or maybe they need to be retrained on certain things, you have documentation that shows progress or their success rate. So, yeah, I think having a welcome package and thoroughly thinking through what would make this new employee feel at ease and what would set them up for success.
Got it. Oh my goodness. And yeah, oh gosh, what does set people up for success? I mean, is there anything different from like last year to this year? What are the trends? What's happening in the businesses that's causing more revenue or less revenue? What are you noticing?
This is a really good question. I get this a lot, which is, should I hire a 1099, which is a contractor, or should I actually hire someone on as an employee? And what I've noticed over the last year, and I think this was very helpful in the last few years during COVID, when people were, maybe switching jobs or maybe they weren't sure if they were going to do some work from home and things like that. So having contractors was actually something that made the business more flexible. But the trend I'm seeing now is that contractors aren't necessarily the way to build your business. And
Yeah,
what I mean by that is not that you can't have them, but if your end goal is to have a brand that people know and they recognize, or to have stability, to have that quality control where your clients that they come back and they have a quality experience and they know what they can rely on. Sometimes what happens is if you have a contractor and they leave, you then are always kind of on that hamster wheel of hiring versus really hiring on an employee with the mindset that this person is a permanent team member and
yeah.
that we're all contributing to that client experience and that we're all building this brand together. Typically, I find contractors don't have the same mindset that an employee who's really dedicated to building that brand would have.
Got it. Thank you so
Yeah, so
much.
I'm seeing a lot of a lot of businesses turn their contractors into or like offering more full-time employment or even a more permanent part-time
Yep.
basis. Yeah, so
Okay.
I think that's the way, especially if, we've talked about leadership before, if you're having some issue with getting results or you're having some issue with um performance, uh those types of things where with a 1099 it's a little bit of a different way that you would work together versus if you had an employee, someone who's really trying to build that culture so that whoever else comes along on the team really enjoys where they work. They feel like, that quote unquote family environment. I know we talked about that a few episodes back where this is not a family, but we do want you to feel like you belong. So I would say the trend is moving toward employment over contractors.
Got it. And you're in Florida. I mean, sunny Florida, right? How's the skincare
Yes.
down there compared to like the Northeast and or Canada? Like what?
Yeah, it's very interesting. There are a lot of med spas here. There are a lot of aesthetic practitioners, which is a very good thing. It means that the business, the industry is growing and the demand is definitely there. Uh, in comparison to Toronto or in comparison to Canada, I would say there's a lot more volume of business here versus in Canada. I just find Canadians are just on every level more conservative. The way they run their businesses, the way that they do their practice, and how many practices pop up. So, being here, there are a lot of practices, which is really great. It shows good health for the beauty industry. If that's something, if you're an esthetician right now and you're thinking of going out on your own, or maybe you are a nurse injector looking to have your own practice or maybe break away from a plastic surgeon's office.
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot of demand. And what we're seeing here is that new injectors and new med spas are popping up every day, every week. And so that
Yeah.
shows some really great health and, growth inside of our industry.
Got it. Well, thank you for sharing that. And we still have 8 more minutes left in the show. And here you are. When do you get to go back home?
So I am just here for the week, heading home over the weekend, just enough time to come around and look and see what's happening in this part of Florida. It's certainly not all of Florida. And definitely, I'm sure that there are trends a little bit different here than there would be in, say, Miami, right? In the Tampa area, it's just a different market. So just getting to know it a little bit. We have a client in Naples, so we thought I would venture up just a little bit north of Naples, which again, even from Tampa is a different market. So it's
Got it.
interesting to see how the different approaches are in different cities. We're here for about 5 more days.
Oh, that's exciting. I love it. I love it. And then the work begins. Ah.
Yes, I'm excited. I think, this time of year, it's almost like it feels like Christmas is right around the corner in the sense of, just feeling that excitement, feeling that energy and business volume coming back. So for anyone who is running their beauty business right now, I promise you it is on the way. People are coming back to their regular schedules and regular routines, and they'll be back within the next 3 weeks.
Got it. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. And now, by the way, if people don't even know where you're from, if this is a new time, you're living where in Canada?
I'm from Toronto.
Ex
I'm right outside of downtown Toronto, right in the thick of it.
See, I want to find out more. I want to come to, I went to Toronto one time many years ago, right? And now I have kids and I want to take them to like Niagara Falls. And I'm like, I got to go to like, I mean, Toronto's not too far, is it?
No, from New York, it's 45-minute plane ride, and there's usually multiple flights every day.
Got
So
it. You
it's
see,
actually very easy to commute between, well, even Florida, I would say, but again, from New York, there's a lot to do in Toronto if you're not from there. I think living there, you just get used to it all, probably similar like New York. It's a fabulous city and there's lots to do, but you kind of get it all done and over with at the beginning.
no.
So it's definitely a great place to visit and bring your kids for sure.
Oh my gosh, I want to because I feel like we're so not friendly with our friends up north. We always go
Yeah.
down south. We go to the warmer weather.
Yes.
So why do we go north?
Definitely right now, it's definitely a higher tourist season in Toronto. However, there is a lot of traffic, but you're from New York. So.
Yes, but I live on Long
Not
Island.
different.
I live about an
Oh,
hour
okay.
east of the city, so I don't deal with that traffic. So it's like, yeah, when you hear city, you think city. But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, just want to point out you offer now a lot of your coaching. You recommend it's like a 6 month program, right?
Yeah, so we do 6 months or 12 months, and we have a couple different offers depending where you're at in your business. If you want something a little bit more intense, you can do more of a one-to-one type of coaching. But really, the thing that people love the most is our Spa Profits Academy program. That
Okay.
one is really designed to support someone over the course of a year or longer. Most of our clients are with us for a year, 2 years, 3 years. And the reason being that as you're learning new things for your business, you're learning a new skill set, you have to implement that. You need feedback to know, is it working well, or what should I shift or change? And you have to go back and refine those practices. And so over the course of a year, as you're learning things and you're implementing them, you're getting feedback and you go back in and
Yeah.
refine. So when we talk about those three different pillars inside of your business, there's a lot to learn in each pillar. And so that's why we set it up over the course of a year, because also most business owners that we work with, they have young families, or they have, partners or relationships. They have lives outside of their work.
Yeah.
And some of them are doing it as a side hustle. So we try to keep in mind that each person might only have an hour or two a week to dedicate to learning a new skill or learning a new lesson that they can go back into their business and apply. So we try to make it slow and steady over the course of time so we can get it right. We're more in the mindset of it's a marathon, not a sprint. And
Yeah.
therefore we're there to support you each step of the way over the course of a year, because from my experience, any spa I've gone into that I've launched or had to turn around or create more profitability, it certainly does take a year to 15 months to really see a big difference. And
Difference and
so we
change. Yeah.
designed it that way. We don't want to promise someone that in 60 days their business is going to be completely different.
Nope.
Can you
No.
learn a lot and have some wins? Absolutely. But we try to be realistic about a slow and steady growth so that for us, we really want that client to see the result, and more importantly, create a consistent practice that they take on themselves, that isn't just done because they're in our program, that it's done because they now learn
Yeah.
how to run their business.
Got it. Well, thank you so much for being here, for joining us. Enjoy this
Yeah.
beautiful weather today.
Yes,
Let's,
absolutely.
well, thank you. How can we reach you? Please share again all the contact information.
For sure. We are on all the socials at the Spa Business Coach on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube, and you can reach us through our website at thespabusinesscoach.com.
Awesome. Thank you again for being here. And we'll work on getting the right time next week. You'll be back, right?
I will be back.
All right. Perfect. Well, cannot wait to talk to you again, and enjoy the rest
Thanks,
of that
Jill.
vacation. Thank you. I
Thank
love your
you.
calmness
Thank
today.
you.
I'd be calm if I was on the beach too, I guess.
I
Thanks
am.
again for being here, sweetheart. To all of our listeners, stay
Thanks.
tuned. We'll be right back. Bye-bye.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.